Before we even discuss furniture or paint colors, we must establish the structural bones of the home. A masculine aesthetic requires an architectural envelope that projects strength, permanence, and absolute structural honesty. You cannot easily force a truly masculine interior into a quaint, ornate Victorian cottage or a beachy coastal farmhouse. The foundation must be contemporary modernism. This architectural style leans heavily into the principles of subtle brutalism. It embraces materials in their rawest, most elemental forms. When you walk into a space like this, you should see the structural engineering celebrated, not hidden. Exposed steel I-beams, left bare or painted in flat black, cross the ceilings. The walls often feature board-formed concrete, leaving the rough, organic imprint of the wooden forms permanently cast into the stone. It communicates a sense of indestructible weight and stoic presence. However, an abundance of heavy concrete and dark steel can quickly become oppressive and tomb-like. The contemporary modern answer to this is the introduction of massive, monumental expanses of glass. By installing floor-to-ceiling commercial-grade windows, always framed in sharp, black anodized aluminum or steel, the heavy interior is instantly balanced by the vastness of the outdoors. The glass allows the natural landscape to act as the primary artwork of the home. This severe contrast, the heavy, brutalist stone and metal, violently interrupted by weightless, transparent glass, forms the perfect architectural canvas for a masculine retreat. The contemporary design world has been utterly obsessed with bright, stark, all-white interiors for the past 20 years. While white spaces feel airy and clinical, they completely lack intimacy. To execute a sophisticated masculine interior, you must be entirely fearless when it comes to the color palette. You must embrace the power, the depth, and the intense psychological comfort of shadow. A masculine palette is an exercise in chromatic restraint. It is anchored by deep, moody, and highly saturated neutral tones. We are talking about charcoal gray so dark they absorb the light, deep navy blues that border on black, rich espresso grounds, and muted earthy forest greens. When you paint a room in these dark, saturated colors, the boundaries of the room seem to recede, the corners blur into the shadows, creating an environment that feels infinite, enveloping, and incredibly protective. But the secret to working with dark colors is the finish. You must absolutely avoid high-gloss paints, which reflect light and highlight every flaw on the wall. The masculine interior demands flat, matte, or eggshell finishes. These finishes absorb the ambient light, creating a velvety, luxurious texture that feels like a bespoke worsted wool suit. When you step into a room enveloped in matte charcoal, your heart rate naturally lowers. The visual noise of the outside world is instantly muted. It transforms the home from a mere shelter into a profound psychological retreat. Because the color palette in a masculine home is strictly constrained and relies heavily on dark neutrals, the design cannot rely on bright patterns or loud colors to create visual interest. Instead, the heavy lifting must be done entirely by texture. A masculine interior is a profoundly tactile environment. It should look like it begs to be touched. And to achieve this, master designers rely on the holy trinity of masculine materials: leather, wood, and metal. Let's start with leather, but not the shiny, corrected-grain leather of a cheap sofa. We are looking for full-grain aniline leather. This is leather in its most natural state. It is highly porous, meaning it scratches, scuffs, and absorbs oils from human contact. Over the years, it develops a breathtaking, dark patina that tells the story of its use. It brings an unparalleled, rugged, organic warmth to the room. Next is wood. In a masculine interior, the wood should never look manufactured, glossy, or overly polished. The goal is to use dark, heavy species like walnut, fumed oak, or charred Shu Su Giban cedar. The finish should be wire brushed or wire scraped to expose the deep, rough grain and sealed with a simple matte oil rather than a heavy polyurethane. Finally, the metal. The space must feature raw industrial metals to provide a cold, sharp contrast to the warm wood and leather. Oxidized brass, blackened bronze, and hot-rolled steel with its raw bluish-black mill scale bring a necessary weight and mechanical precision to the home. By layering these three distinct textures, the room feels undeniably rich, historic, and grounded. When you transition into the primary living space, the design philosophy shifts towards structured comfort. This is not a room designed for sloppy, chaotic lounging. The masculine living room is modeled after the aesthetic of a high-end, exclusive members-only club. It is a space designed for deep conversation, nursing a bourbon, and appreciating the quiet. The furniture selection is critical here. The silhouettes must be sharp, low profile, and strictly geometric. A massive, overstuffed couch will ruin the contemporary aesthetic. Instead, designers choose long, low-slung modular sectionals with clean, squared-off edges. The upholstery should draw from the world of menswear. Think heavy wool boucle, dark tweeds, or crisp linen blends in shades of slate, graphite, or camel. To balance the heavy upholstery, the accent chairs must feature exposed structural frames. Mid-century modern icons, with their sweeping wooden arms and suspended leather seats, are the perfect addition. The center of the room is almost always anchored by a heavy, monumental coffee table. A thick slab of raw travertine, a block of poured concrete, or a solid cube of blackened steel provides a visual center of gravity that grounds the entire arrangement. And pulling the whole room together is the hearth. A contemporary masculine living room demands a dramatic fireplace, often stretching from the floor to the ceiling, clad in large-format dark stone or seamless oxidized metal panels, providing a quiet, elemental fire element to the dark room. The traditional kitchen is often the brightest, most cheerful room in the house, filled with white shaker cabinets, subway tile, and shiny stainless steel appliances. The masculine contemporary kitchen violently rejects this aesthetic. It embraces a concept that top designers refer to as culinary brutalism. It is a kitchen that looks less like a domestic baking zone and more like a high-tech stealth laboratory. The defining characteristic is absolute, uncompromising minimalism. The cabinetry features flat slab-style doors with zero decorative routing or molding. To keep the lines razor-sharp, traditional cabinet handles and pulls are completely eliminated in favor of hidden push-to-open mechanisms or recessed finger grooves. The finish of the cabinetry is almost always a dark, light-absorbing hue, matte black, deep espresso, or smoked charcoal veneer. The island is the undisputed centerpiece. It is not just a prep space, it is a monumental architectural statement. Designers frequently specify waterfall edges, where a massive slab of dark, honed stone, like absolute black granite, dark soapstone, or heavily veined quartzite, flows seamlessly down the sides of the island to the floor. To maintain the stealth, monolithic appearance, visual clutter is banished. The refrigerator and the dishwasher are completely hidden behind custom cabinetry panels. Small appliances like toasters and coffee makers are hidden inside dedicated appliance garages. The result is a culinary space that looks incredibly intimidating, immaculately clean, and effortlessly cool. When the day is done, the bedroom must serve as an absolute, impenetrable fortress of rest. A masculine contemporary bedroom is designed to be the ultimate sensory deprivation chamber. It is a space explicitly engineered to lower your cortisol levels, shut out the noise of the world, and wrap you in total darkness. To achieve this, the color palette is pushed to its absolute darkest limits. The walls, and often the ceiling, are painted in enveloping shades of dark slate, deep navy, or even soft black. The windows are treated not with flimsy, sheer fabrics, but with heavy, floor-to-ceiling motorized blackout drapery. Often made of rich velvet or heavy wool, these curtains absorb sound and completely eliminate light pollution, creating a cave-like sanctuary. The bed itself is an exercise in low-profile luxury. You will rarely see tall, ornate four-poster beds here. Instead, the mattress sits low to the ground on a solid platform. The headboard is often a massive, custom-built architectural feature that spans the entire width of the wall. Upholstered in channel tufted leather, dark suede, or rich wool, it is a room that feels distinctly heavy, deeply protective, and profoundly restful. The master bathroom in a contemporary masculine home takes its direct inspiration from the world's most exclusive subterranean luxury spas. It is a space that abandons the clinical bright white hospital aesthetic entirely, favoring a design that feels deeply terrestrial, moody, and elemental. The foundation of the masculine ensuite is large-format dark stone. Designers wrap the floors, the walls, and the massive walk-in shower in dark slate, basalt, or heavily veined black marble. By using large tiles with minimal grout lines, the space feels like it was carved directly out of a solid bedrock cave. The shower itself is typically a doorless wet room design, enclosed only by a single pane of floor-to-ceiling smoked or bronze-tinted glass. The plumbing fixtures play a crucial role in establishing the masculine vibe. Shiny chrome or polished gold is entirely banished. Instead, the hardware is specified in raw industrial finishes, brushed gunmetal, matte black stainless steel, or living unlacquered brass that will tarnish in the humidity. The vanity is often a wall-mounted floating slab of dark wood or poured concrete, holding integrated trough-style sinks. And the crowning jewel of the room is the freestanding soaking tub. While most tubs are white acrylic, the masculine spa frequently features a spectacular tub cast from matte black resin, dark concrete, or even hammered copper. It is a daily ritual space that feels primal, powerful, and intensely private. If you execute the dark color palette and the heavy textures perfectly, but you fail at the lighting design, the entire masculine aesthetic will collapse. Lighting in a dark contemporary home is the unsung hero. It is the invisible architecture that dictates the exact mood, depth, and drama of the space. The absolute worst mistake you can make in a moody interior is flooding the ceiling with dozens of bright, wide-beam recessed lights. This washes out the shadows and makes the dark walls look flat and cheap. The masculine lighting strategy relies on the concept of illuminated pools. You do not light the room, you only light the objects and the activities within the room. Designers utilize highly focused narrow-beam gallery spotlights to hit specific targets: the center of the coffee table, a beautiful leather chair, or a piece of artwork. The rest of the room is allowed to fall gracefully into shadow. Furthermore, indirect lighting is crucial. LED strip lighting is hidden behind floating mirrors, under bathroom vanities, or in the shadow gaps of the ceiling, creating a soft, ethereal wash of light that highlights the rough texture of the stone and wood without ever revealing the bulb itself. The fixtures themselves must act as sculptural art, heavy, mechanical, articulating floor lamps made of machined brass and blackened steel that look like precision instruments. It is a lighting scheme that is quiet, deliberate, and fiercely dramatic.